Thank you. Thanks for putting together this event. I think it's fantastic to see a university like Berkeley putting together this type of event where we have all these panels. Perhaps 4 or 5 years ago when we started talking about open data, we were not having this type of events. I'm here to talk about a couple of things. Of course, the first one, can open data improve democracy? Yes, of course it can. I'm going to talk about a couple of examples. But I'm seeing every day, as we engage with different types of clients, when we're helping them open up valuable data sets, that we're seeing leaders that are really interested in bringing this data out and making a lot of things happen. That said, we're in the very, very early days of this. And in this slide, I want to also mention that I want to say something publicly that I have not said before. I enjoy looking at data sets in the weekends. I love playing with data. I love to know what developers can do with data. So I'm a data geek, of course, and happily I'm saying this in the public after I'm already married. I have a daughter, so I'm safe. The problem is that if you're here today, and if you're watching this online, you're also data geeks. So embrace it. It's pretty good. And this means that we're at the very, very early days of open data. Today, only a handful of very big cities that have a lot of money to invest and try things are doing this. There's some leading cities, Palo Alto, named a couple times already today, doing amazing things, engaging with citizens. But this is only in the early days. And our main focus has been, how do we make this so simple so that we can allow for a lot of cities that don't have all those budgets, cities that are not that leading edge, to be able to embrace open data and transform democracy, really. So what I'm going to talk about is, again, I discuss why it's relevant, but give some cases and then where is this going forward. First thing, why some of these governments started with open data? For the usual reasons: transparency, accountability, it's the right thing to do, mandates, sometimes politics. The truth is they're pushing very valuable data sets to the world. That is being transformed into engagement. So we've heard that word a couple of times, and we're going to hear that word a lot. It's transforming into innovation that is getting back to City Hall, increased efficiencies, and better decision-making, and a lot of things that are happening thanks to all this open data. Now, let me talk about a couple of cases. One, the one that has been mentioned a couple of times again, city of Palo Alto. Very interesting city, lots of innovation, close to Stanford, really interested in embracing what's new, and without exactly knowing where this is going sometimes, they're willing to take risks and do very interesting things. 2012, they defined that they want to do open data. They launched the concept, and they were able to bring civic engagement to a completely new level. If you have not seen open data before, this is how an open data portal looks like. It's data that has been transformed from difficult to read, difficult to use data sets into data that is visual, usable, understandable, and moreover that can be shared and that can be used in very different ways. One of which is, for example, allowing this data to be accessed via an API that then can allow fantastic things to happen. For example, a company in Ireland called Building I being able to use all this beautiful Axela permits data, or City of Palo Alto Axela-powered open data, to then create applications that are very useful for developers, people that are doing construction, or people that live simply in the City of Palo Alto. Another interesting case, because some people told me, well, this is happening in New York, in San Francisco, in Palo Alto. How about other places that are not that high-tech? Costa Rica, beautiful country. By the way, my wife is Costa Rican, so I better say good things about Costa Rica. But beautiful country, really embracing open data to transform how government operates. This lady, leading digital government there in Costa Rica, created a program where 20 institutions are opening data. All this data is being centralized in a main open data site that is allowing to, again, a very interesting level of new engagement with citizens. And only last week, I was meeting with 20 people that work in the Ministry of Economy there in Costa Rica. They were all very interested about learning which type of data is useful, how to open up the data, what can happen with the data. So again, we are at the early days where it's not completely clear. When now you were talking about the pros and cons of opening data, today we don't ask ourselves, does it make sense to open this up in a website? Or does it make sense for me to tweet, sometimes too much, but to tweet all these things to the world? It's easy for anybody to open up content to the web. If I ask you, go and create an account so that you can start putting out some content of 140 characters, it's easy to think about which tool you would use. If I ask you about, hey, go there and put a blog, you know how to create an account and start doing that. If I ask you, go there and open data, what is the application that comes to your mind? Probably none, right? Because there's no easy way of publishing data. Again, only leading organizations that have a lot of data and can invest a lot of money are doing these kind of things today. But it will come a day where that is going to be much, much easier. This lady, by being able to put together this program and teaching a lot of these government officials how to open data, is really transforming government. And then an interesting case back down there in the south from where I come from, Argentina, a country where not all the things are that transparent, to put it in a nice way. Bahia Blanca, this is a case of a turnaround. We usually hear about the corporate turnarounds, right? Well, this is a city turnaround. A lot of corruption before. A new mayor came around and said, we're going to really transform things. A great CIO came on board, Esteban Mirovsky, doing amazing things, and they were able to completely change the status quo. Now you're seeing a lot of young people being able to engage with government. You're seeing a lot of people that is seeing how this is changing the way in which they operate in Bahia Blanca. And this is generating an effect that is going way beyond Bahia Blanca in Argentina. Now, just to finish up, where do I think that open data is going as we move? We come from a phase where we have a lot of valuable data, sometimes hidden, or not hidden, but not being able to be shown up, except for some cases where, case of Mayor Bloomberg, making a lot of money out of publishing in a nice, very nice way, very valuable data. And we're moving towards a data economy where there's a lot of things that are going to happen with this data. A new data web that is going to power a lot of engagement, a lot of beautiful things. Well, beautiful for a data geek, at least. So first wave, open data. Open it up. You have some data set. Just try to think on how to open that up. That is happening already. There are mandates, there are regulation, there are people really putting together communities that make sense so that this happens in the right way. Second wave, how we transform that into efficiency and collaboration. And this is all about the innovation that we've been talking about and we've been hearing about. How we transform this into something that can be of use for some people. And there's a third wave where then once we have that operationalized, we can start thinking about a new type of value creation. How does all this data now can power new products that can better serve citizens? How can businesses leverage all this open data to do very interesting things? And again, moving towards a data economy where data, models, and a lot of things that are very, very valuable assets that today are not shown in the usual web are now in this data web that is powering a lot of very, very interesting innovation. With that, again, just to finish up with the same beautiful image I enjoy, we're only at the beginning of this. Government has started. This is an unusual case where government is really leading the pack. But other than government evolving on what this is going, NGOs and associations that have a lot of valuable data are going to be opening up data. Academia, of course, corporations, media. There's a lot of different people that if they find an easy way to open up some valuable data, then that is going to happen. And as that data becomes very usable, then great things that geeks like I enjoy are going to happen. So with that, I want to thank you.